Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a track from an act named Serenity Joi, titled Do Say. And if we switch over to here, I think it's Do Say. It's got a little accent thing on top of the E, so I think it's like you say Do Say like that. I might be wrong, I apologize if I am mistaken, I mean no offense. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish. It's my first time with Serenity Joi and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, some nice. Oh. I'ma do it my way, don't give a fuck what you say. I mean, we're blunt. We're blunt, you know. I like that she's completely taken control of it. Very little without the vocals, you know. We didn't really hesitate on that theme there. We're straight into that hook, I suppose.
Mind on my money, money on my mind. Days looking sunny, I'm gon' grind till I shine. Ain't nothing funny when it comes to mine. When it comes to mine, I ain't got the time, cause I love to live a fast life in the truck.
Nicer vocal instrumentation combined with some production value on there, those like pans and stuff like that. The trills and legato parts are cool. Great production there on the drums as well. It's very lush, isn't it? Lots of different layers in it instrumentally. I like the fact that we have the Do Say part and it is on its own. It kind of gives a little bit more focus on that title, that hook line there, that main part of the motif. And I generally overall the drums, the bass, the 3-note progression throughout that chorus each time, it's really easy to follow. The extensions in that harmony add a bit of sophistication, and there's a bit of sweetness in those key parts and synths as well. Or maybe it's just the keys. And of course, you know I keep the baddest bitches with me. We gon' have it our way, and the niggas gon' pay. They gon' do what we say. Cause I love the fast life, in the driver's seat, running all the red lights. Pulling up, you know we outside. Me and my bitches riding pretty, and we stunning in your city while we sipping on this Do Say. Okay, we just, seamless transition back into that chorus there. We're floating our way through it. There's a sense of mysticism about it with these reverb chains and all the floaty vocals around the place. It's kind of like I'm listening to a dream. Those trills on the hi-hat are gorgeous. Really nicely mixed. Got those kind of trap and R&B elements. Great choice here. What I want to sort of give a shout out to everyone involved in this for just having a moment where everything sort of like dampens down a little bit. While I appreciate the smoothness of the textures that we've had so far between those verses and choruses, having the bass and the drums kind of cut out, have some filtering of those bass frequencies, it's a bit of it refreshes you, It cleanses the palate. It makes you wonder what's going to happen next. It sort of gets you to miss what's happened before it as well. Oh, I get it. Is it more like about like having that independence, not allowing other people to weigh you down and believing in yourself and exploring your limitations or what's possible? The oscillation of that sort of synthy wavy part in the mid-range is an additional emphasis on the groove alongside the drums. Yeah, no, I'm really happy with this track. Great first impression. Because this is the conclusion of my review of Serenity Joi's Do Say. It's yeah, it's a well-spoken track. I think I understand what the track is about. I think anyone listening to this track can understand what it's about, you know. You have someone who is, refusing to be limited by other people's expectations and not letting their life be lesser for it, you know. I think there's a self-awareness there. There's a semblance of humility, and you know, it's sort of self-care, really, isn't it? Living in a way which is beneficial to you and being true to yourself and being authentic. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that story and vibe with it, you know. The vocal performance from Serenity Joi, that's going to bug me a little bit. It could be Serenity Joi or Joi. Joi? I hope I haven't screwed that up. Yeah, so apologies if it was Serenity, like moi, M-O-I, or Joie. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with Joy, but it could be Joie. We'll figure that out in post. But you know, Serenity's song Do Say, she's a great vocalist. Fantastic vocal technique, really comfortable within her range, both in chest and head voice there. You know, you got butterflies on the album art here. I don't know if you can see it. It kind of reminds me of the vocals like fluttering like butterflies. Very graceful. Lots of those overdubs and extra takes there as well to kind of lather it, you know, in the stereo field. And there's a lot of, it's like a soft blanket, you know what I mean? Really great, really smart choice there. Actually, it would have taken a while, I think, to have decided how many of those different vocal layers to put in there alongside the mains. But I feel like it was the right amount. And yeah, just the attitude with the vocal performance felt authentic to what we were talking about. So, you know, we had the meaning behind it and the intent. The structure and motif for this was very that kind of classy kind of, not necessarily lounge jazz, but like it had a jazzy sophistication in it to it. The part that made the motif special was not only like the catchy hook melodies from the vocals, but it was rather the simplicity of the actual bass line itself with everything else kind of fluttering and dancing around it. You just had 3 notes. And they gazed and sort of swung between each other at a very rhythmic, also almost mesmerizing pace. And it was really relaxing and pleasant to listen to. You know, there's a lot you can do incorrectly when you have extensions and modal sort of choices and stuff like that and lots of different vocal parts. It can almost be over-engineered, but that wasn't the case here. I think we had the right balance there in regards to the arrangement and the various instrument and vocal parts included in there. It sounded like the motif set gave me the impression of someone who was just wanted to do their own thing and just chill and just vibing with it. You know, they didn't want the stress or the drama. The actual performance outside of the vocals was great. The drums were incredibly interesting throughout. You know, we had wide variations to that. Parts where they dropped out, came back in. Interesting hi-hat concepts and stuff like that. And the kicks and the clicks instead of the snares was a smart choice as well. Really smooth. The bass and the bass was nice and sort of like supportive, you know, of the rest of the harmony. The keys and the synth, the oscillating synths and stuff like that were nice mid and higher range supplements there and added a nice, it was a very pretty harmony overall, pretty tone to it. And there were little bits of glitter and stuff sprinkled on as well, and some reverse takes I think initially as well in that intro part. And you know, when I look back on it, I think it sounded way bigger than it might have been just from like the individual parts. When you look at them like in a DAW or something like that, it was everything put together. There was a massive focus I think on the vocals and the hook especially, so it was enough to elevate everything else, although the accompaniment was strong enough as it is. There wasn't really a note out of place. I'm very happy with it overall. The production, recording, mixing, and mastering was commercial tier. It was ready for release. The actual quality of the recordings was great. There was some nice filtering, EQ work there, and it sounded like a fairly raw vocal performance as well. It wasn't over-engineered or like sterilized in the in post, which was great. You know, it was just her voice, and the rest of the instruments as well were nice and clean and well glued together. The panning of the instruments in the stereo field, not just in the vocals and the backing, but also everything else was nice and tidy, nice and wide in the mix, and everything was notched well in the frequency spectrum. The gluing at leveling of everything was fine, and the limiting compression was great. It was nice and loud without pumping. Overall, this is a strong track. It'll be interesting to see where Serenity goes in future with her music, but effectively this is Serenity Joi or Joie's Do Say. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go and check out her various social medias, and I'm sure this is on Spotify. And stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need to help more than ever with all the great stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.